Schools, parents, and the community must work together to promote the health, well-being, and learning of all students. When schools actively involve parents and engage community resources, they are able to respond more effectively to the needs of students like me.
Research shows that students whose parents are involved in their education are more likely to adapt well to school, attend school more regularly, earn higher grades and test scores, graduate and attend college, and have higher self-esteem.
At this time, I would like to ask you to please stand for the posting of the colors by the Callaway High School JROTC Color Guard under the leadership of Sergeant First Class Renthony Smith, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Carla Lopez, a student from Spain Elementary School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have remarks from our distinguished President of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Jean Harrison.
These students of ours from our combined elementary school choir certainly reminded us in a wonderful way that we are among friends. Thank you, young people. You did an excellent job. Yeah. It's nothing like having our children, our youth, and our young adults to remind us what's most important in this work that we are conducting together. Dr. Green and his team have prepared a fabulous program designed just for parents and guardians, grandparents, family members.
A variety of things that you can do at home that's going to help get your child kindergarten ready. So why not take it and use it as a learning opportunity?
The activity that we have prepared for you, I'm going to allow our kindergarten teachers to do that.
And there are several factors of reason why they may or may not have didn't pass. And then sometimes you really have to look at what school, what grades are they getting, because we will have kids that are passing, but they're on that cusp of maybe failing, but it may be 69, 70.
We talked about the Literacy-Based Promotion Act. I just want to reiterate a few of the key facts. This began in 2013. Can you opt out? Is it an option for the child to take the third grade test? No.
We are all in this work together to encourage our students to remember that you are among friends and people who care about you. And that as we go through these challenging times together as friends, working together to serve all of the children in our district, we will remain friends and we will work hard together to lift each other up and strengthen each other so that all of our children will have a brighter future.
Having to begin with the end in mind. Think about this. Would you have made some different decisions if you at middle school decided what you wanted to do in be in 10 years? But it's so very important that we talk to them about setting goals and help them to set goals that, number one, they really can attain. Number two, that it's giving them some wiggle room to make some mistakes and autocorrect, especially with smart kids. If you got a smart, super duper smart child, when they mess up, they just flip out.
Parents, please know that we are with you. Let us know what you need from all of us who serve you across the district, because we are a team and we are dedicated to the success of all of our children.
We will now receive our welcoming occasion from the 2019 JPS Parent of the Year, Ms. Cheryl Smith, followed by a performance from the Lanier High School Choir under the direction of Ms. Cornisha Burren.
First of all, I'd like to give honor to Superintendent Green, the Board of Trustees, and all of the parents, the grandparents, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, everybody that is here to be part of the village for our scholars. I am delighted to be here and to share in this wonderful occasion and proud to serve as the JPS 2019 Parent of the Year. This is such a prestigious honor, and I am truly grateful. The purpose of this event is to engage our parents and our community to become more involved in our schools. We all have something that we can contribute. And remember, it takes a village to raise a child, and we are all part of the village. How can you be involved? You can volunteer to read or tutor. You can donate books. You can donate uniforms. You can coordinate educational-based field trips to museums or historical places. You can provide incentives to reward the children, the students, for their hard work and for their efforts. Tonight, you will be exposed to various workshops that will enlighten you on how you can work closely with our schools to help prepare all of the scholars to be successful.
I'm going to give you a minute to brainstorm. Ready, set, go! They have to build a freestanding tower with spaghetti, a yard of string, and a yard of tape. It has to be freestanding, and it has to hold the marshmallow, and it has to be the tallest in order to win.
You will hear about graduation requirements, the importance of daily attendance, and the gifted education programs. You will also learn the power of early literacy in kindergarten and strategies to help in reading and math to help your children to be successful academically.
You need a 16 in the math and take a remedial math in the fall and take college algebra in the spring, as long as you make a C in the course. Western Seals, you have to have a 17 in the English and a 17 in the reading as well. Meet with the child's counselor so you can kind of have an idea, but this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. This is gonna be my plan of action. Those students make a 15 on the ACT. It says 15 to 18, but if you got a 17, I'm gonna put you in the dual credit class because you qualify for it.
There's no doubt that the Jackson Public Schools has an array of information here tonight. Our hope is that each of you will take full advantage of all the opportunities that are available.
Marlon Nichols of Michelle Obama Early College High School will now come forward and introduce our keynote speaker for the evening.
Our keynote speaker for this evening will be Captain Barrington Irving. Captain Irving has traveled to 50 countries and conducted more than 30 STEM expeditions. He successfully challenged middle school students to build a car that is faster than a Ferrari 430. Then, he challenged high schoolers to build an airplane that he flew on its first test flight. In 2007, at the age of 23, Captain Irving set 2 world records. The first being the youngest person to fly around the world solo, and the second being the first black person to fly around the world solo. Now at the age of 35, Captain Barrington has developed a flying classroom curriculum, also known as flyingclassroom.com. It transforms the way students learn STEM. In its following ways, his global expeditions, they engage in problem-solving activities that enable them to overcome new challenges. Barrington created a nonprofit Experience Aviation, which offers hands-on, STEM-based programs and career guidance to middle school and high school students in Florida, Texas, and Georgia. He rejected college football scholarships to pursue a career in STEM and never looked back. A magna cum laude graduate of Florida Memorial University, Barrington was the recipient of a congressional resolution acknowledging his pioneering work in aviation education. I give you Captain Barrington Irving.
So I want to share with you all a few things. You heard some great things about flying around the world and different things I've accomplished. But let me be quite honest. When I was in school, I struggled. The reason why I struggled in school, a lot of times my teachers can answer one question. When will I ever use this in life? And school was a struggle for me. It wasn't until after graduating out of school I was able to embark on a journey. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, moved to Miami, Florida. I grew up in 2 of the 3 worst neighborhoods in Miami. That was Liberty City and Opelika. And while growing up, I played football for a team that was ranked #1, not only in the state of Florida, we were ranked #1 in the entire country. Football was everything to me. I thought I wanted to pursue a career as relates to going to the NFL. One day, I saw this guy dressed in this uniform. He stepped out of a white Lincoln Navigator, dressed in that uniform, walked into the store, nice jewelry on, and I'm looking at him saying to myself, man, this brother looks like he makes a lot of money. He's walked up to me and said to me, hey son, have you ever thought about becoming a pilot? First words out of my mouth, I said, sir, I don't think I'm smart enough to fly a plane. But I asked him one pivotal question. I said, man, how much money do you make? And his response to me, he said to me, son, I make $117 an hour. This was back in 2001. And when he told me he made $117 an hour, I looked at him and I mumbled under my breath, and I was like, legally? And he was like, yeah, this is what I do. And he explained all these different things, you know, that he does in aviation. And he said, look, if you're interested in pursuing a career in aviation, I'm willing to mentor you, but I'm a busy guy. So I'll speak to you 1 time a month for 30 minutes. So 1 time a month for 30 minutes, he described to me where he was in the world. And he described what was going on, and I literally saw the world through his words. Parents, mentorship is very important for your children. Right? Because for me, I just randomly bumped into someone who literally helped to change my life. So this was my former high school teacher, Miss Batiste. When I was in school, I couldn't stand this woman, right? This woman gave me so much homework, classwork, all type of work, and because of her, I actually made one of the best decisions in my life. You see, Miss Batiste didn't care how great of an athlete I was. Miss Batiste saw more potential in me than I saw in myself. And she constantly nagged me, and she constantly said, Barrington, forget about football, pursue a career in aviation. She nagged me so much, I ended up turning down my football scholarship to the University of Florida. So I look at the guys I played ball with. Some of them made it to the NFL. But thanks to this thing we call science, technology, engineering, and math, I've made more money than all of those guys combined. Right? This isn't what's possible for me. This is what's possible for your children. When I said I wanted to fly around the world, for 2.5 years, people told me no. Coca-Cola, everybody was rejecting me. Coca-Cola says to me, here at the headquarters, we focus on events and programs that are national or international in scope when considering sponsorship requests. 3 holes in the bottom of the shoes. Wore these shoes with no shame to major aviation events, walking from booth to booth, trying to figure out how exactly I'd fly around the world. This was my first airplane. This plane cost $650,000. How was a poor kid able to afford a plane that cost $650,000? No one wanted to rent me a plane, lease me one, let me borrow one, nothing. So guess what I had to use? Street knowledge. I thought because there's only one logo on the front and back of a car, that means that company made all the parts of the vehicle. I didn't know there was a such thing as original equipment manufacturers. Someone makes the engine, someone makes the seats, had no clue. So I studied each and every single company, over 42 different companies who made different parts of this plane. I went after them one by one, and instead of asking them for money, I simply asked them for the one part that they manufacture. Pieced it together, and that's how I outsmarted the aviation industry by using street knowledge to figure out how to get my hands on a $650,000 airplane. You see, after I flew around the world, it took me 97 days, 145 flight hours. I thought it was my turn to make $117 an hour. Then this teacher messed me up. She writes in a letter to my team, and she says, Captain Irving, thank you for flying around the world. I took down my shower curtain of the world, brought it into the classroom, started writing all over it, creating lessons as you travel to different parts of the world. Thank you for inspiring my students, but I need you to empower them. That's what this is about, empowerment. How do you empower young people? And when she wrote in that letter, it touched me so much. I said, you know what, I'm going to get involved in education. I challenged 60 kids from failing schools in Miami to build this plane from scratch. Not only did they build it, but they did it in 10 weeks. But you know what's the hardest part about this project? Some of the adults. It's so interesting, we can believe, and it's easy for us to digest. Oh, this kid stole this car. But it's difficult for us to process that very same kid can build an airplane. That young lady on the left-hand side, Bakari, when she started out with me, couldn't point out a ½ an inch on a ruler during that project. She ended up graduating from Duke University as a math major and now makes over $100,000 a year, and I meet with her every Christmas to talk about investing. The young man in the middle of the screen, Trenton, he lost his father to cancer, had self-confidence issues, ended up graduating from the Air Force Academy, and now he flies fighter jets. That's a picture of me back in the day in my brown flight suit. Does anyone recognize who's standing right next to me to my right? That's Trayvon Martin. Sometimes we act as if there is something wrong with our young black men. There's nothing wrong with them. Yes, they may learn differently in different capacities, but there's nothing wrong with them. You see, that's Trayvon Martin right there in the middle of the picture. The young man at the bottom of the screen, he's a professional pilot in Europe. Young lady across from him in the white shirt, she's a certified airframe and power plant mechanic who works on airplanes. Young lady above her in the blue shirt, she's a medical student. Trayvon Martin didn't make it. Your children have the opportunity to do it. We challenged 5th graders to 8th graders to build me a car faster than a Ferrari 430 Spider. This was a car that they built. Do you think kids ever ask me, how much math do I need to learn? How much science do I need to learn? No, why? Because they see the finish line. Parents, as important as the journey is, your children only care about the destination. I realize not every child will get an opportunity to build an airplane or a race car, so I wanted to do more in education. I called Miss Batiste one day. I said, Miss Batiste, I think I figured it out. I think I figured out a way to engage students and empower teachers. You know what Miss Batiste says to me? She said, boy, I don't care what you do. And I was on the other side of the phone, and I was thinking to myself, see, that's why I can't stand you behind sometimes, right? And Miss Batiste says to me, she says, Barrington, it doesn't matter what you do. If you can't engage my kids in the first 15 seconds of class, what does it matter? In the realm of education, if I'm going to teach you something, guess what I have to do? I first have to sell you on what I'm about to teach you. So what we decided to do was transform our airplanes into a real-life magic school bus and literally travel around the world exploring some of the core standards your students have to learn in the classroom. Because yes, we have issues with Wi-Fi, yes, we have issues with hardware, but to me, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest issues in education is content. The state of Florida, where I'm based, 83% of math and science teachers have no professional background in those fields. Is it the teacher's fault? No. I graduated as an aeronautical scientist. Can I teach on biomedical engineering? Can I teach on regenerative medicine? So why isn't content built in a way where you can teach things without being a subject matter expert? Parents, there's nothing extraordinary about me. Your child could do the very same thing or much greater. Remember two things. Don't teach your kids about just careers, teach them about industry. The other thing is foster the opportunities for your students to become explorers. With that said, Dr. Green, thank you so much for this opportunity. Truly appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you.
Now, what part did you like? But what part did you not like? Well, I don't know. So it's always should be some kind of conversation. So all of these things that good readers do, that's what your child should be doing. And you want to kind of cultivate that. Now, if I were you, I would probably take this out, maybe put it on the refrigerator so that I'm always aware of these things that I want to cultivate in my child. A celebrated reader is a program that we use in Jackson Public Schools where a child will take a STAR assessment, okay, STAR reading. The STAR assessment will then tell me what's that child's ZPD, the Zone of Proximal Development. Everybody has their own individual book level. And based on that book level, then I should be reading books in that book level. Okay. And once I read that book, I take a test at school on the book, and hopefully I can score 85% or above.
You're going to open your pack. You're going to take out your decks, your kings, queens, aces. So you should have nothing but numbers.
It's another one that's out there. I think it's called Bully Zone, nobullyzone.com. That's one. But if you do a Google search, you can find all type of resources out there. But again, this is, I think, the best resources.
I'm so excited to be working with this district. I'm so excited to be serving you and your children, your young people. There's so much that they have in store for them while they're with us in our schools and in our district, but certainly as they move on in life. Our mission has to be preparing these young people for lives and for a world that we can't even fathom right now. So much innovation and so many opportunities for them to explore. Let's please make sure we carry in our hearts the need to prepare these young people and to instill in them the power of exploration. Exploring through books, exploring through life experiences, through conversations with adults and with their friends, and certainly with our elders, all kinds of opportunities for them to see the world and become a part of the broader world. We here in JPS are endeavoring every day and ever more, each and every day, to prepare our young people for the world that is really theirs to have, and to give them the skills and the dispositions that will cause them to be changers, to change the world, impact the world in ways that we probably can't even dream. I'm excited that you're here with us tonight, excited that you continue to see the need to be a part of what works in education here in Jackson. Please continue to support us, challenge us, but to work along with us to prepare our young people for the world.